So, yeah, there's, I mean, I do have the money coming in, but I'd have to readjust how I spend it. But, yeah, lots of miracles, I guess you could say, because I made the right choices, even though it didn't seem like the right choices to make. And as a result, I'm able to continue to warn you, despite the majority of you not liking it, not appreciating the sacrifices I've made for you. So, such is the way it is. Travis Wayne Goodsell. So around 3 o'clock this afternoon, our power went out again. And if you've heard that this place has 300 solar panels, and so now you're thinking solar panels suck, why should we ever get them? That Green New Deal. Yeah, well, I've told you before, they're for the backup generator. They're not the main power supply here. And apparently they got given very low wattage solar panels. And so with the backup generator, we can't use the laptop. We're pretty much crippled. Only the backup lighting are available for us. And so, yeah, it was an opportunity for me to realize that without my laptop and my files, I've got nothing to do with my life. I mean, seriously. I was like, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. I'm trapped here. And so, isn't that great? The church is still pissed that I'm still carrying on, because when I got evicted, I made sure to not take extra clothes and hygiene. I took the laptop and 200 pounds of gold plates and ended up with blisters on my hands and blisters on my feet. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out a day when I can self-clean my feet. Dear God. I had to buy stuff because the foot doctor didn't want to be a foot doctor. And so now I've got to figure out a way. I guess I got to go buy a winter coat now and hope that somebody has my size. Because even though I've lost a massive amount of weight, the shoulders require a 4X for coats. So, because my actual coat is being held for ransom. And so that's what I was reminiscing about, was some of the things that would have happened had I been more concerned about my vanity and my hygiene. And because when I first got here, I immediately went to the caseworkers and instantly got my money restored to me. and 6 months back pay because I was attacked. I'd been telling you, and nobody believed me, and nobody still believes me. But here I am. I'm showing you the fruit after having told you about the seed the whole time, and you still don't believe. Man, you guys must be starving to death with no fruit in your life. You can imagine what kind of fruit it is, whether it's guava or just a simple pear or something else exotic. But if I didn't get the money, I wouldn't have been able to get some level of help moving into a storage unit. And I was sort of set up because this place offered to help me with that. And their truck was big enough to handle all my stuff. But they were telling me as we were going through it that they had to end and not take everything. And so I had to leave all the furnishings behind. Which after I was freed from my 6-year captivity, I was given $20,000 to start my life anew. And that's where the furnishings came from. And so the storage unit now is holding all that for ransom. As I told you guys about the trap they set. And so but if I didn't get the money, I wouldn't have any of this. If I didn't bring this, if I brought a backpack of clothes and hygiene, none of this. And not getting the money, well, the clothes would have lasted longer than the hygiene, but the hygiene would have eventually run out. And there's no towels here. You have to have your own towel, and other people have the space because I chose the 200-pound gold plates for the little storage bin underneath the bed here. And otherwise, the other guys, they're able to have a towel. You can't leave clothing or anything out. Too many people get robbed here in the shelter. Just last week, there was a guy in a wheelchair who's new. He's in one of the other dorms, but I heard him talking with one of the staff about how he had lost his clothing. And I've seen this place give out clothing, and it doesn't fit. When I first got here, there were several who were trying to hold up their sweats, so they only had one free hand. And they do have a person who sells clothing, but you got to have the money to buy it. And other stuff, if it's not donated, they don't have it, like towels. And so, I was able to get some stuff, some hygiene, but for the most part, because especially now that they're all being held for ransom, I have to buy new stuff again. And I can't buy too much because I don't have the room. And so, very frustrating. So I'm now forced to have to re-buy another coat because it's now freezing outside. And if we were to have a fire drill, because nobody wants to go out and smoke outside or do drugs outside, so they do it in the bathrooms, and that will set off the fire alarms. And especially with all the new guys that are in the overflow now for the nights. It's Russian roulette for when the fire alarm's going to go off again and force us all out in the freezing cold while we wait to find out it was just a false alarm because somebody lit off a cigarette or lit up crystal meth or whatever it is they're using. But yeah, you would have not been able to see me continue doing videos. Joe, I remember seeing a video from you a couple weeks later, wondering where I was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the newest of you are unaware that I even had a beard. But yeah, this place is privately owned, and so it is in their financial interest to maintain homeless people. Only let into housing sufficient to maintain an overflow, because the overflow makes sure that they are always going to have enough to increase their paychecks every year. And we're speaking of the board with the church, a part of it. And that's what's upsetting, is because on the new plaque for the new name of this building, the Pamela Atkinson Center, the church and the Utah government are the biggest donors. But if you didn't know, they put $17,000 to like $300,000, and that's the club. But there's only the church and the government. So which one was the government? Which one was the church? Most likely the government. But the church, even though you think they're giving, they're actually getting money back through being on the board and the other financial kickbacks that they receive. So don't think that the church is all nice and charitable, even though it's minimal charity. Because again, there's still homeless people. The whole concept of the story of Jesus talking to the rich man was that there are poor. You need to give of your surplus and help the poor. That's what he means by follow me. It wasn't become a missionary or a monk. It was being a philanthropist, in a sense. Person who gives and helps people out of poverty. Because as we learn from Ezekiel 17, the real reason why Sodom was destroyed was because they neglected the poor. And we're seeing that in America as the rise of fascism gives rise to an increase of homelessness and abuse of the homeless, as we are used to make money for people rather than to help us get out of poverty, get us a home. Because that's all they need to do. There's plenty of housing available for all of us to have our own place, but the system that we have will not allow it. And so, yeah, the church claims that they don't want to give because then they'd create a welfare state, and that we aren't pulling ourselves by our own bootstraps to appreciate what we get. See, that's why they need to silence me, is because I had an apartment. It was taken from me by abusive force, by violent force, as they purposely did what they did so that I would be murdered, and through the system rather than through So I understand Rihanna has a new song out finally after all these years for the new Black Panther movie. I still have to find it and watch it, but when I crossed the line with sex trafficking, the church sent me the death threat at my bus stop where I got my main source of income. And so they were already in the process of causing problems with the money, as they had somehow lost money, and so I was getting screwed over every 5-week month, and so I had enough when they repeated it again for another year at the end of 2021. And so I filed a complaint with the administration that was in charge there, and they resigned. Oh yeah, you're complaining? We quit. We're no longer going to provide you your main source of income. And so 6 months without my money. They were purposely hoping to evict me immediately with the brand new property management that was put in immediately after I lost my money. But it was rent adjusted. So I was good for 18 months. And so they went to plan B. And plan B was to starve me out during those 6 months. But I had made sure to have a supply of food. I had a supply still of the Monster cereals from General Mills. I missed it this year, obviously. So that kind of sucks. But the Frankenberry, the Blueberry, the Count Chocula, and then they had a mixture that I had last year. And so, but wow, they really tried to hurt me, and all because they wanted me gone. They wanted me silenced. They were tampering with my internet service, and so without the money, you guys who were still with me then saw when I lost my internet service and I was down to the Wi-Fi, and it was worse because it was 3 times an upload of the time of a video. So a 3-minute video would take 9 minutes to upload. With this Wi-Fi, a 3-minute video is 4 minutes. So it's a little better. It could be because of the laptop, but yeah, I can't have my main computer here. So, and then this laptop, I had bought a new battery for it, which was why I wasn't using the laptop. If you saw when we had a power outage, I did a video on my laptop because I had a generator with solar panels, and so I was able to keep doing videos. And then when the power came back on with the internet service, I was then able to upload them for you about what had happened. It was the windstorm on the day before Nelson's birthday. And when was that? 2020? Yeah, because it was the same year as the earthquake, a day after my birthday. Magna earthquake. Yeah. And so that's why those videos were the way they were. But yeah, I just, without access to the Egyptian gold plates, 200-pound Egyptian gold plates, I realized I had nothing to do. So, yeah, there's I mean, I do have the money coming in, but I'd have to readjust how I spend it. But yeah, lots of miracles, I guess you could say, because I made the right choices, even though it didn't seem like the right choices to make. And as a result, I'm able to continue to warn you, despite the majority of you not liking it, not appreciating the sacrifices I've made for you. So, such is the way it is.